I'm Alex. I've had Rupert for probably, I think it's around 14 years or so now. I should probably know that, but I've completely forgotten. And he's 30 years old. We think he's a Welsh Mountain Pony. We don't have too much information on him, but we think he's a Welsh Mountain Pony, and we've had him for ages. I learnt to ride on him when I was 7. I think he must have been one of the first ponies that I rode. There's a little photo of me in my little boots just like sat on him at probably about 7 years old, bless him. And we've had him ever since. He's just been, yeah, I learnt to ride, we did competitions together, and yeah, he came up for loan in around about 2013, and ever since I fell in love with him before that, kind of, learning to ride him through that, and we got him in 2013, and ever since he's been mine really. We bought him in 2017, and he's just the best ever. I think Roops has been just the main support for my well-being, to be honest. Yeah, he's been central to it. I think especially during, if things are happening, or I definitely found it during kind of A-level exam season, which was, quite busy and quite stressful. It was just so nice to have a separate kind of, location to go to it's got nothing to do with work, it's got nothing to do with school, and like nobody else is there. I could just be completely by myself, and it just be in the quiet, be in the calm, and just have him there and just kind of talk to him for a little while. He knows so much, and it's so nice to be able to kind of talk to him about anything and not have to worry about judgment or anything like that. It's amazing really, and kind of being able to take my work down and do some work down there, if it's all a bit kind of claustrophobic at home. And yeah, I think it's mainly just having something to do and take care of. When we used to compete, it was kind of around about spring, summertime it would usually start, and I think the training would mostly be during the winter, which was a bit grueling sometimes when it was, pitch black and freezing cold, but it was fun. It was always fun because you were always kind of doing something that you loved, and it was, you were always working towards the goal of, doing these big competitions and wanting to do really well. So yeah, it would start around about kind of spring summertime, and we'd just book as many in as we possibly could, to be honest, and we'd go. We didn't go kind of too far. We did, a couple of local shows, and then a couple of like county shows as well, which were always really fun. And it was all just kind of experience building, and going to do the Olympia qualifiers, which were always absolutely terrifying, but again, so much fun. And it was so nice to kind of, see your hard work be, especially over the winter, just be shown. I think he was a riding school pony. I used to ride on him. He didn't really have any experience with competitions, or walking in a certain way that they want for competitions and things like that. So we worked really, really hard with him to kind of get him to that level and have that level of stamina for a show. And it was so nice to be able to see that pay off, not only just for kind of him as well, but also for me, and knowing that I can, do something like that was really, really cool. But obviously he's 30 years old now, so I don't think he'd be very happy if I looked him out to a show and started doing all these things on him again. So now it's mostly just, making sure he's nice and comfortable, giving him a really good brush, making sure that his field's all nice for him. He can stretch his legs, especially with his arthritis as well. It's lovely that he's still able to have this, really nice field to stretch his legs out, and just be happy really. He's so happy just sitting there and watching the world go by, coming down and sitting with us if we ever come down randomly and just say hi, and just making sure that he's kind of happy and comfortable in his old age now really. I think all animals. I think I've not even just Rupert. I think we've had the cats and the dog and Chewy and everything like that. It's always having someone. It's always having somebody there, because I'm very introverted as a person. If I ever get stressed, I'm not really wanting to kind of talk to too many people, and that can get quite lonely sometimes, especially when you do need somebody. So especially with Rupert, kind of being able to leave the house, leave, everything. If it's getting a bit too stressful, I can just go down and it's just me and him, and it stops that loneliness, because you might not want to be around other people too much, but you don't really want to be by yourself. So having someone or something there to kind of talk to, and not, and I kind of said earlier, but about like judgment, you don't have to worry about, them saying, oh, what's the wrong thing to say, we shouldn't say that or anything, because they're just listening, and they're just there, and you don't have to kind of pretend that you're doing all right and you're not stressed out and all that kind of stuff, because they don't care. It doesn't matter, as long as you feed them, they're kind of happy. So it's just so nice to be able to take yourself away from it, but not feel as though you're completely by yourself. Especially if other people, especially as I said during exam season, like if everyone else is really stressed, you can go to someone or something and they don't have any exam stress to worry about, so they're not talking to you about their exam stresses or anything like that. They're just there and they can just listen, and it's so nice. You feel as though you're kind of with something instead of just inside your own head all the time, which is, it's so lovely.